for some people who might not know who you are, I just want to give a quick little thing here because I just find it crazy. You're a six-time national champion, a world champion, Olympic gold medalist, a former WWE and TNA superstar, and you've also dabbled in movies. Is there something that you can't do, man? Like, this is crazy. You've done literally everything under the sun, and you've done it
Uh,
so well, like exceptionally done, right? So,
well, what I can't do right now is all that.
well, hey, you could also sing too. You know, I got sexy Kurt the song. Come on, you can do so many good.
I can't even do that anymore. I'm too old.
No, come on, man. No, you look great for your age. You take good care of yourself. That's awesome, man. I actually want to kind of dive into a little bit about the movie The Iron Claw first. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
I haven't, but I heard Zac Efron did an incredible job. I heard the movie was outstanding, really well done. I can't wait to see it. Actually, I just never got the time to go to the movie theater to see it, but when it comes out on Netflix, I'm there.
Yeah, absolutely. You do you know like a lot about the Von Erich story and about how they are?
Oh yeah, anybody that's been involved in wrestling knows about the Von Erichs and their legacy. So, and there are many legacies to them. You know, it's not just that they were great wrestlers, but there are a lot of tragic stories that occurred with them. I think they deserve a movie. I think this movie is definitely going to be a tearjerker, without a doubt. And I know it's going to tell an incredible story about the Von Erichs.
Absolutely. And I think it's just that time period too, right? Like the early 80s was such a,
Yeah.
I believe, a pinnacle time for wrestling too. And a lot of the new talents emerging. So yeah, it was a really good movie. I loved it. Honestly, I think it was probably one of the best wrestling movies I've ever seen. The movie The Iron Claw reveals the tough side of wrestling, highlighting how the Von Erich family battled addiction. Wrestling takes a toll on both mental and physical health, as seen in the struggles of stars like Kurt Angle, who fought addiction but is now clean. I asked him what improvements does he think are needed in how society supports mental health, especially in sports and entertainment.
Well, I don't want to blame it on the medical world, but they came out with these drugs that are very addictive, and a lot of people have got addicted to them, especially in wrestling. Wrestling is a very physical sport. You're gonna when you're bumping on plywood, your body starts to wear and tear, and especially when you have injuries and you have surgeries, which I had many of them.
Mhm.
You end up taking painkillers, and once you start taking them, not only do they become addictive, but your body builds a tolerance to them. So one doesn't work anymore, then you have to take two, then two leads to four, four leads to eight. Before you know it, you're so out of control, you don't know what to do. and
Mhm.
and that's when you have a serious problem. And that's what occurred with me. I broke my neck for the second time in WWE when I was wrestling Brock Lesnar, and I ended up being introduced to painkillers. And the first time I took them, I loved the way they made me feel. They not only hid the pain, masked the pain, but they gave me an energetic feel. They didn't make me feel nauseous like they do a lot of other people. And I loved it. I immediately I enjoyed taking them. And after a while, my body built a tolerance, and I started taking more and more. And then I dug myself into a pit that I couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
And then what happened is I got my painkillers problem under control, but then I started drinking alcohol excessively. So as an addict does, I switched from one drug to the other, and I started drinking alcohol. And what occurred at that point in time, that was in TNA. And I ended up having 4 DUIs in 5 years. I was making horrible choices. Uh, my reputation spun out of control. I lost my reputation, everything I worked for. I was at the lowest point in my life. And I remember calling my wife from jail after my fourth DUI. And she said, I can't do this anymore. You either go to rehab or I'm taking the kids and I'm leaving. And I didn't want to lose my wife and my kids. So I went to rehab. And it was the best decision I ever made. I've been clean and sober for 13 years now.
Yeah, that's awesome, Kurt. No, I know. I've seen your whole journey, like how I mean, like I'm obviously really young, but even just like looking back at like prior like videos on YouTube of like of you talking about your past addiction and stuff and where you are today, it truly is inspiring. And I think it's even inspiring for the new talent emerging, even the wrestlers that are getting into this business.
You know what WWE did, which was really smart? They implemented a program where, they have a wellness program, and you're not allowed to take painkillers anymore. You're also not allowed to take steroids. They're doing a lot of things to clean up pro wrestling, and I think that's incredible. I commend them on that
Yeah.
because it's going to save a lot of lives. I mean, a lot of lives were lost in the past, and in the future, a lot of lives will be saved because of their wellness policy they implemented.
I'm not sure if you can speak about this at all, but I actually read online that there's a biopic that you're gonna be working on about your life. Is that true or?
I can't really say right now.
Oh, but
I'm
hey,
not supposed to say anything about it, so I'm not going to say yes or no.
no worries. But if there is, I want to just let you know I'm really excited if there is. So that'd be
Thank you. If there is, thank you.
no problem, no problem. Speaking about the new talent emerging, and because I see all these new cool wrestlers coming out, but one of them that stands out to me is Logan Paul. I know you spoke a little bit about him in the past too, but he's someone that has started with WWE, which seems to be like a full-time schedule, and he's someone that has taken up the wrestling side of things really quickly. He's impressing a lot of people with his talent. Similar to how you were like a phenomenon when you first started. You were brand new to the art of pro wrestling, and you won your championship shortly after. If you can give Logan Paul a piece of advice, what would you tell him?
I tell him to keep doing what he's doing. He has been really effective. He's had incredible matches. He cuts great promos. The kid understands the business, especially being a real athlete like myself.
Mhm.
Go into pro wrestling and you think, well, I'll never lose. So, in real life, I would never lose. So I shouldn't lose here, but Logan gets it. He knows that he has to win sometimes and lose sometimes. And I think that's the hardest thing for a real athlete that comes into professional wrestling. That's the hardest thing to accept is that you're going to have to lose quite a bit. And, it's not going to really hurt you. It's just going to build up the other wrestler. And for the next time you wrestle him, he'll be, at a higher level. So I think that he understands that. And that's the most important thing that you have to understand in pro wrestling. And he has picked it up very quickly. And like I said, he understands the sport.
Absolutely. And I'm sure if hopefully he watches this interview, but if he does, I'm sure he'll be really happy to hear someone like you, like a legend, give advice to him for something like that. There's
You
actually
know what?
yeah.
He's blown my mind. I really am. I thought at the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, he's making a quick buck. But he stayed in there and he proved himself. And he deserves every accolade he gets right now.
Well, yeah, because it's like people always talk about like wrestling it's not just fighting, it's a true art form, right? And you gotta be very strategic how you move, how you perform, because it has to look realistic. It's got to wow the audience, and it is very strenuous on the body and the mind, right? So for him to take it seriously, because anybody can say, "Oh yeah, I'll do it for a quick buck," but it's those people that won't last in this industry. You know what I mean? So
Right, right. And you know what? I think that he's come up with a great character too. He's kind of a cocky, arrogant prick, but it works extremely well for him. It really does.
absolutely. There's also another legend. I want to show you something because I'm not sure if you've seen this. There's a legend that has said something really good about you. And I know you obviously love this guy as well. I'm going to pull it up right here for you.
With, to the best of my knowledge, I think
Bret Hart, the
thought
Hitman.
this Kurt Angle would have been the guy that I love to have worked with. There's a list that you can just go on and on.
Yeah, so
I
hopefully you heard that. Yeah.
he's the one that got by me. I never had the opportunity to wrestle him. I think I missed him by a year. He was in the WWE. He went down to WCW. Then I joined the WWE. But he was the one guy I always wanted to wrestle that I never did.
Yeah, oh man, but even him too, he's because I'm Canadian, right? So for me,
Yes.
my older brother, who's a big wrestling fan, that was like one of his favorite wrestlers. You think of the Canadian icon, it's Bret Hart, man. So, it's so
He's
cool.
the man, especially in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah,
are
there's
you kidding?
nobody bigger than Bret Hart.
No, he's awesome, man. Funny enough, I was actually because I was too young for this to actually happen, but I watched a video about the Montreal screw job that
Yeah.
was, yeah, I didn't even know that all happened, but no, it's just crazy how you hear all these crazy stories that happen in WWE. And funny enough, sometimes people looking back, now they go, oh shit, that's what really happened. But when you're watching it live happen, you just think, oh, it's part of the show, and you're not understanding how it all happens, eh?
Even when he spit on Vince, you thought, oh, okay, this is part of the show.
Yeah, I was watching the clip. I'm like, oh, that probably happened. I read the comments like, oh, that was not supposed to happen. Like, what the hell's going on? So
Yeah.
funny, man. Funny stuff. Oh my God. But yeah, he's great. What do you think would have made a match between you and him memorable? Because you guys have both different wrestling styles, right? What do you think would have made that like that experience really memorable, you think?
I think both of us being technical wrestlers and having a lot of technique in there, a lot of submission trade-off, a lot of chain wrestling. I think that's the reason why Bret and I would have had a magical match. We're both great technicians. Another great technician that I wrestled that I would compare to Bret Hart is Chris Benoit. He's a great example of I wrestled Chris, but I would expect the same type of match out of Bret Hart. I think they're both incredibly amazing technical wrestlers, and that's the reason why I would want to wrestle Bret.
Any other people that you would have loved to work with that were like before your time, or?
Roman Reigns, definitely. I think he has proved himself. For the first few years, I was a little, hesitant on him. I didn't think he was improving as quickly as I expected him to. Obviously, him being from a wrestling family, but man, the last 4 or 5 years, he's caught on and he's been kicking and taking names. I love Roman Reigns. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's doing great for the sport of wrestling, and him having this winning streak is incredible. I also like Kenny Omega. I love the kid. I would have loved to wrestle him as well. I think he's one of the most talented wrestlers out there. I think I would put him up there with AJ Styles.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I think anybody who would have got to wrestle you, it would have been a real showstopper, man. That would have been like unbelievable. I have 2 more questions for you, but one I have to ask you about because I know you've probably already talked about, you're probably sick of it, but I just have to know because that meme that was going around about you, right? I know at first you were saying that you didn't understand it, right? You were just like, oh, I don't see what's so funny about it, right? And at first too, when you look at it just like from the original video of you, like where it actually came from, yeah, it's not funny at all. And it makes me think like, how do people come up with this stuff? Honestly. Like,
I don't know. It's just this stare. They call it the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, when you look at it, it's kind of a goofy stare, but you don't think of it when you see the video, the first video. And I just thought they were making fun of me. I didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
But, I found out later on that it was actually a good thing because it gave me a lot of exposure. But at first I was kind of pissed off.
That's awesome, man. And my last question for you. Back in your WWE days, you had some memorable catchphrases. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Intensity, integrity, intelligence, the 3 I's. You suck. There's many more. The list goes on. But what's a motto or saying that guides you in life today if you had to pick something?
Oh, gosh. Intensity, integrity, and intelligence. I came up with that, and I lived by that. And what's crazy is when I started out in professional wrestling, that wasn't who I truly was. My character was kind of, I would say that I had integrity, but I didn't have much integrity. I was the complete opposite. I would cheat whenever I had to. I would, I would talk badly about individuals and rip on the towns that I was in. And so I didn't really live by the 3 I's, but I said I did. And I think that's why I enjoy the whole intensity, integrity, intelligence thing. But one of my favorite quotes is Rey Mysterio, you're a man, or you're a boy in a man's world, and I'm a man who loves to play with boys.
That's it. That's the one. Yes, thanks, man. That was great. And then your reaction. Wait, what? That was classic, man. Oh no, Kurt, you're awesome, man. And I want to say thank you for all the years that you've inspired everybody, that you continue to inspire people too. And thank you for your time today. And I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adam. I enjoy being on the show.
Thank you. Have a good day, man. Take it easy.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.